Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen for today's live. Let me know where you're tuning in from so I can see who's here in the comments and that everything's working all good, because I always have a little bit of a different setup each time. So hi everyone. Turn your phone off. Best start. Alright, so today I've picked some things from the garden and we're going to make a couple different dishes with these. Some things that I've been wanting to try out for a little while, so we're gonna do it. So the main ingredients are zucchini, because those are what are popping off in my garden at the moment. Right in the peak of our summer here in Perth or in Australia, and zucchinis are going for gold. I don't know how I do this every year, but I get a little overexcited and I plant like all the varieties. So I have I think 5 zucchini plants, 5 different varieties, but they are sort of producing zucchinis at different times, so that's quite helpful. So at the moment I've got I think it's the Black Beauty, or the Black Jack it's also called, and last week I had the striped ones going off, which the Coco Zell, which is a new one that I've never grown before. I also have these other big ones that I've got in the fridge. I don't really remember what they're called. I'll show you. I've never grown these before. These. So I'm not going to use these today because I do want to try a new recipe. I'm going to try and, I'm going to do like a stuffed whole. Like, I feel like this is what this is asking for, to be like stuffed whole. So that's what I'm going to try with that. But today we are going to be making sort of like a salad or a pasta. It's completely raw. There's no cooking involved, which is so good. And I'm going to be making a dressing. And this dressing is like a herb-based dressing. It's super easy and you can sort of mix and match with what you've got available in the garden. Yay, I can see some people joining in. My computer is a bit low, so if I'm looking down, that's why I'm looking at the comments. But I will answer some questions at the end, so if you do have any questions during the live, then definitely ask me in the comment section. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make this delicious herby dressing, chimichurri sort of style. And to do that, we're going to use parsley. So I've got a whole bunch of parsley here that I just picked. And these here, these are, oh, that one's gone. These ones are the society garlic. So I usually use garlic cloves in this recipe, but I don't have any, so we're going to switch it out with these society garlic leaves. So we'll see how that goes. Love an experiment. And they're going to hopefully add this garlicky flavour, and since I've picked them, I can smell garlic on my hands, so that's a good sign. We've got all these fresh chilies, which I'm definitely not going to be using all of these. I'm quite weak with the heat, so I don't use a lot, but I just picked a whole bunch, and I just pop these in the freezer, and then whenever I want a fresh chili, I can just pull it out and use it as I would fresh, because it defrosts very quickly. So if I want to add that on top of a salad or in a stir fry, I can just do it like that. Otherwise, I do love chili powder. I'm making my way. This was full and I've nearly used half of it, so I use a lot of chili flakes. So we've got chili. Look at this cute little carrot. One rogue carrot. It's not really going to feed the family, but it'll be nice and sweet. And we're going to use the carrot leaves in our dressing as well, because we're not going to let those go to waste. So these carrot leaves are going to form part of our chimichurri dressing. We've also got some beets, and I've already used the leaves in a stir fry, so it's just the spiky beet left, and this is a white beet, and then I've got a red one. So those are going to be a salsa. So we're going to make sort of a beetroot salsa that's going to go on top of the zucchini. And we've got some zinnia, we've got some edible flowers, of course, This wouldn't be cooking with me without some edible flowers. So we've got some beautiful zinnias there. Of course, our zucchini. And this is making my kitchen smell very fresh. So we've got rosemary. So the rosemary is going to be part of the second dish. So something that I want to try out, I've been wanting to try out for ages, is like using these as a skewer. So we're going to use the rosemary as skewers. And then I've got a tomato, a lemon, and a lime. I don't think I'm going to use the lime, but we'll definitely use the lemon. And lastly, fennel fronds. So these will also go in our green dressing. You can pretty much chuck any herbs and greens in this green dressing. That's why I love it so much, because I just change it up every time. I just use what's available, what's fresh, and what's going to go to waste. So this recipe is part of my membership, but today I'm going to have a look on there, and I'm going to let you know the ingredients and the amounts. So if you want to write them down, feel free to do that, because I just do this all the time now. I sort of just wing it and I don't use a recipe, but I have got them written down there, so I will share that with you. And you can always refer back to this live afterwards, because it will be saved on my channel. Yeah, that is one of the hardest things about cooking with me, is I just like to wing things and I don't use recipes, but I'm going to try for you to do correct measurements. We'll see. So the other thing I have, which I haven't told you about, is some halloumi. So I'm like addicted to halloumi. It's one of my favorite things. Let me know if you like halloumi as well. So this could be swapped out. If you didn't want to use halloumi, you could swap this out for a tofu or a feta, or I don't know, I guess vegan cheese or any other type of cheese you want. So I've got that halloumi soaking in water, and I like to do that because it just reduces a bit of that salt, and it also like puffs it up and it makes it more gooey and delicious than if you just get it straight out of the pack. So I've got that soaking in some water, and then we're going to marinate it in the dressing. So first up, the first thing we need to do is make this dressing. So I've got way too many chilies. Now you can use like a NutriBullet, a blender, anything. I like to use this mortar and pestle. It's just one of my favorite things to use. I think I like things chunky and not all like blended completely. I like to still be able to see some of the herbs in there, so that's one of the reasons I love it. And it's just fun to use, so I love using that. I use it to make heaps of like curry pastes and dressings. It's probably one of my most staple things I have in the kitchen, which is something I should probably do a video on, some of the staple things I use in the kitchen. Because another one is, I just got this recently and I'm super excited about it. This peeler. I know, it's like so groundbreaking, isn't it? It's a wide one, so you can do the really wide strips, and I have been loving this for zucchini, making zucchini strips. So it's like you could make zucchini fettuccine or carrot ribbons. I'm just like loving this at the moment, probably just because it's new, so we're using this today. And don't need this little old one. I do have some red onion that's going to be in the salsa as well. That's just a little leftover bit of red onion that will pop in the salsa. All right, so for the dressing, we get, I'm going to check my phone because I want to make sure I'm giving you the right quantities here, because normally it's just a handful. So we've got 1 cup of parsley, and I feel like this looks like a cup. Just move that aside. Oh, and I also set something up, so we'll see if this works. We're trying new things today, you guys. So I've got a second camera. Well, it's not a second camera, it's just my laptop, so that we can do a close-up of what I'm cutting, because that is always annoying So let's see if this works. Maybe not. Oh yes, here we go. Okay, so I'm there twice now. So now I'm going to be able to show you a little bit easier on what I'm doing. Let me know if that works. The quality is not as good, obviously, it's just my laptop. But I also got a bowl. This is going to be where the compost goes, so just some of those bigger stalks in there. And I'm just going to roughly chop up the parsley. Something about parsley, it just smells so fresh. It's about a cup, you guys. It's a cup. So in goes the parsley. Then it is half a cup of fennel fronds, but I don't have half a cup. I've just got a few sprigs. But my recipe, I had half a cup. I mean, it's kind of half a cup. I feel like it's close enough. I know some people will hate this. Some people like just have to have a recipe, and I understand that, especially when you're not confident in the kitchen. Having a recipe so you're not wasting your time making something that tastes disgusting. I completely agree with. So that's why I do try and make my recipes as accurate as I can for my members. But we're just going to pull off all the nice bits. And I don't know, we might use this. I feel like we'll use that. Otherwise it can be for dinner. So again, I'm just chopping up these carrot. This has like a similar smell, I reckon, to fennel fronds. It's not the same, but. All right, so we've got that packed full of greens. Oh no, wait, we need our garlic, which is the society garlic, or you could use garlic chives, or you could use 2 cloves of garlic, which is what the actual recipe has. Yeah, it's definitely got a garlic scent to it. All right, so that's all our greens in there. Now we've got these 2 ingredients, which is a red wine vinegar. You can see that. A red wine vinegar and a extra virgin olive oil. So these are going to go in to our greens, and I'm going to just double check this for you guys. So what did I... 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar and 1/4 cup of olive oil. That is right. So 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. This is probably my main ingredient for salad dressings that I've been using at the moment. That and apple cider vinegar. And that's something that I really want to dive deeper into this year, is making heaps more dressings. Because obviously I'm growing a lot of greens, it's really nice to be able to mix it up and make different dressings. So things are new and interesting. So what did I forgot already? 1/4 cup. Actually, I think that we're going to put that in after. So we've got, read the instructions here. I haven't made this in a while, and normally I just wing it and chuck it all in at once, but we're going to put the parsley, the vinegar, the fennel fronds, the garlic in there, and then we're going to add lemon juice and sugar. But I'm not going to add sugar today because I'm going to add maple syrup, which I've been loving as a substitute for sugar. A different type of sweetener. There's so many different types. You could use honey obviously as well. So we've got 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. My lemon wasn't quite ripe, so it's gonna be a little bit hard to squeeze. And I can't bother getting the lemon juicer squeezer thing, so we're just gonna try and avoid the seeds. know what you have been harvesting from the garden at the moment. I know some of you are in complete opposite seasons to us here, and so this is kind of a two-hand job, isn't it? You know what, guys? I'm just squeezing this in. 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. My lemon tree is just like bare bones at the moment. There's like one lemon here and there. Which is because I gave it a big prune back, so it's going to be slower this season because I had some of those nasty gall wasps, so I had to give it a really good cut back last year. I'm making this look harder than it needs to be. I should just get my lemon squeezer thingy. Okay, sugar, tea towel. The sugar would be easier because it's going to have that grit in it. It's going to help me break this up, which is why I normally use sugar, but I like to change things just to see if I prefer them or not. So I don't know how much this will be, so I'm going to do basically a teaspoon, and I can change that later on because we're going to taste this, and if it needs more lemon juice, like it's too sweet, we can add lemon or vinegar, and if it's not sweet enough, we can obviously add some more sweetener. I'm also going to grind in a bit of salt. Alright, so I'm just going to give this a good mash up and break it all up. I actually just got a new little blending attachment for making dressings, so I need to give that a whirl, but this is just as good, although it takes a lot more effort. Alright, so I might just answer some questions while I'm doing this at the same time, so let me just get back onto one camera only. I know so many people, it's a strange time, I understand, depending on where you are. I mean, it's midday here in Perth, so if you are at work sneakily watching this, thank you for joining. It's just one of those things, it's really hard to try and figure out when I should do live streams, because one, it obviously has to work for me and I have to have the right time of day. I can't do it at night, it's just too dark. The afternoons is when I like to do my YouTube filming, so around 4 o'clock when it's starting to cool down, so I don't like to tend to do it then, so it can get a little bit tricky trying to figure that out. So it's reducing a lot now because we're mashing it down. So it started off as like a full thing, and now it's just getting smaller and smaller as we grind it up. And I think definitely having that grainy sugar or some rock salt really helps break this down. My choice of swapping it out today was probably not the best idea, but I have to keep trying these things so that I know if I can make it better. It's going to be so hot the rest of this week. It's already quite hot now, but the wind, my gosh, I don't know if you guys had wind, but it's so windy last night and this morning. I've had to go out and like rescue so many things. All my shade cloths like came undone and were like whipping my poor zucchinis, so they're all quite damaged, but it's fine. I'll get out there this afternoon and take off any of those broken leaves. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. Lastly, I'm going to add in the olive oil, and then we can taste. And then I'll add some chili. But I don't want to add the chili at the start and like mash it all in because it'll be hot, too hot for me, I think. So we got 1/4 cup, which is what I have here. That was a workout. So I'm just going to add this a little bit at a time. Spilling it. Really getting those flavours in. So this dressing would be great on so many things. I've made it quite often and put it on roast veggies as like a roast veggie salad. You could put it on fish, any sort of barbecue, any meat, whatever you want. It's a very versatile green dressing that's got heaps of flavour. Alright, it's coming together now. It's a workout, okay. I can see why my little blender will come in handy. It's alright, there's no real cooking involved, other than we're going to cook the halloumi. Forgot a seed. Alright. Now let's try that. Can you see? It's hard to know if you can see this or not. Oh, you guys, it's so good. Probably a little on the sweet side, but then it's also got that real sour kick from the lemon and then also the vinegar. I can taste that garlic. I can really taste that garlic. Even though we didn't have any garlic to put in there. That's why I'm loving the Society garlic. This gives you garlic all year round. I don't think I need to do anything to that except a little bit of chili, so I'm not going to put much in, just a little bit, and then I'll put some on top when we serve it, because that way if it does get too hot I can just let it to the side, and I'll just loosely do those in there. I am just going to add a touch of water because I'm going to marinate, so I want it to have a little bit more liquid in there, just a little, probably, that's probably not quite a tablespoon. Ugh. Okay, let's see if I can show you. This is the green dressing. So it is super flavorful. So you don't need a lot. Now we can marinate our halloumi in that while we prep our zucchini with our zucchini peeler. So I'm just going to put a bit on here, and I need to save half of this for the zucchini as well, and I like to have a little bit to drizzle on top, so I'm just going to rub that all over the halloumi. obviously the longer you marinate this, the more flavour that it's going to absorb. We're not really going to be marinating it for very long, but there we have our marinated halloumi with the green dressing. Oh, it smells so good. Alright, I always make such a mess. Green dressing to the side while we prep the zucchini. So we're going to make zucchini ribbons using our thingy, wide peeler. So I have been eating zucchini raw, like a lot of it, in my salads. So I'm going to pick one. I think this one will be good. Get another bowl ready. So then all you do is make ribbons. So you can chuck some of these in a salad. That's what I've been doing lately, just putting zucchini ribbons in a salad because I have so much zucchini, like so much. You could also make pickles, like a quick pickle, because it's so thin, it would pickle really quickly, so you could sort of make it for dinner. So we're gonna do, my zucchinis are kind of an odd shape because they've had a bit of inconsistent watering. But as you can see, we've got those beautiful zucchini strips, zucchini fettuccine. What's the really wide one? I feel like it's called something else. I'm not quite sure. So this dish that I'm making with the zucchini, well, I'm making two dishes really. I've made it quite a lot using pasta, and I've made like so what I do when you start to get too deep, too wide, it doesn't make nice strips anymore. So then I just turn the zucchini over and start again. So kind of like you end up making like a square shape out of the zucchini. So yeah, I used to make this dish with pasta, but today we're swapping out the pasta for zucchini because we have a lot of zucchini, and that's going to be, I mean, zucchini pasta is really good for you because it's just veggies. We don't have to cook it, it's just zucchini. And I've been wanting to try this for a while. And then on top of our zucchini pasta, we're going to put the beetroot salsa. So that's going to be a fresh beetroot salsa. So I haven't made it for a while. There's no recipe. We're just going to try it. I'd love to have a recipe. So we'll see if we can basically do a test. So just keep going around. The stuff in the middle with the seeds does get quite hard to do. Then what I'll do is sometimes, like if I don't want to use that part, I'll just put this in a container in the fridge and I will just chuck that in any stir fry I'm making. I'm cooking a lot of veggies during the week, so there's always somewhere. Or I could chop it up and put it in the freezer. I usually have a container in the freezer of odds and ends of veggies that if I'm making vegetable stock, then I can just chuck that all in and make a veggie stock, so nothing goes to waste. So we've got our bowl of zucchini ribbons, and we're going to dress that with our green dressing and let that sort of marinate for a bit as well while we get the rest of it ready. So I'm putting most of it in, but I'm going to leave a little bit for the end so that we can drizzle it on top of both of the dishes. So just mix that around. Oh, this smells so good. So there we've got, how easy is that? Just zucchini, pasta, no cooking. All marinated in there. Put that to the side. Making such a mess as usual. Sorry, I'm really not doing good on the questions today. I'm just trying to get as much done as I can, and then I'll get to the questions. Celery. I've got some random celery popping up wild. Alright, so I've got more zucchini, but I'm not going to make more. I'm probably just going to eat this as a late lunch, or I'll keep it for dinner. So we've got our halloumi marinating, our zucchini marinating. We've got to make our beetroot salsa, and then we are going to prep. Oh, actually, no, we're going to use another one of these zucchinis. We need 2 zucchinis. I'm going to make double the batch actually for the second dish, which is our rosemary skewers. So the second dish is going to be zucchini ribbons wrapped around halloumi, skewered with a rosemary stick, and then fried. Haven't done that before, but when I was thinking about what I could use this for and making zucchini ribbons, and I had halloumi and I have rosemary, it just sort of like came to me that that could be a great idea. So we're going to try it out. So this would be really good for a barbecue, zucchini, halloumi, and that's where you could swap halloumi out for whatever you wanted. So we'll just get this done again. Easier if I do that. Some of the zucchinis are easier to do than others, like the ribbed one that I had last week, the Coco Zell. That one was a little bit harder to get the outer strips because it's got ribs on it, but once you get in, it's pretty easy. I've been eating a lot of roast zucchini as well. I just chuck it in some herbs in the oven, and that's another easy way to have some extra veggies. Alright, so that's plenty for us to use for both now. Over there. Alright, so we're going to make our... I need another bowl. Running out of bowls. Lastly, just the last thing we need to prep is our beetroot relish. So for this, I'm just going to grate some beetroot. I've got red beetroot and white beetroot. I've also been adding grated beetroot into my salads. It helps keep it really moist because it's fresh. Let's see if I make a mess with this, which is more than likely going to happen. Cherry tomatoes would be so good with this. I don't have any at the moment. Hopefully you can see. Again, this, I'm just going to chuck this in here as well. This can go in my veggie stock, the end of the beetroot. I'm going to put these all in the freezer for veggie stock. You can put some grated carrot in here, that would be really good as well. The carrot would help sweeten it up. But this white beet that I've got here is very sweet. So these white beets are quite a lot sweeter, which is going to help mellow out the flavour of the red beetroot, which can be quite earthy. Yeah. I don't grow a lot of red beetroot because it's not my favourite. A bigger bowl would have been. Use the rest of that later tonight. I've got a tomato. Like I said, cherry tomatoes would be so good for this. They'd be really nice and sweet. Tomato bits can go in the veggie stock. Anything can go in veggie stock, really. The poor compost sometimes doesn't get much scraps. It's probably the same if you've got chickens. They get priority of the scraps or worms, and the compost sort of gets left behind. But lots of things from the garden still to go into the compost. Alright, so I'm just roughly chopping up the tomato. That's going to go in our salsa. And the rest of the red onion. I wish I had more red onion, but I've been using it all. Been having salads a lot, so lots of red onion in my salads. Chop it up as fine as you like. I don't mind a chunk of onion here and there. Put that in. I don't really know what I'm going to dress this with. I don't want it to be too flavorful, like, because we're going to be serving it with this, which has got obviously all our herbs and stuff, so we want to be able to taste that. So I just want this to be kind of simple. Bit of salt, a little bit of oil. Well, I was going to put chili flakes, but I may as well just use some of this fresh chili. Or maybe a squeeze of lime. Why not? Alright, so that is our salsa. Mix that around. I really needed a bigger bowl, but we're just using what I could grab. Putting the salt on this is going to draw out some of that moisture that's in the beetroots and the tomatoes, so then it'll sort of become its own dressing. Alright, done. No cooking yet. Now, these are going to be for the end. Make it look pretty. And we've got to put that carrot on there. This zucchini can go. Let's cook the halloumi and make the skewers. So a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Okay. So I'm going to cook this two ways. I'm going to cook some halloumi for the zucchini pasta with the salsa, and we're going to top some some halloumi on top of that. And then I'm going to make the skewers, but I think what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to wrap the halloumi in the zucchini, put it on the skewer, and then fry that off. So we'll do that first. See how that goes. Leave a little bit on the end there. So I've done this before with other things, like making skewers for the barbecue. Soaking these in water is a really good idea. Stops them burning and drying out. I guess just like you would any other. So save all that rosemary. We can use that, either dry it out or I'll use it later tonight. So we've got some skewers here. So now I'm gonna cut my halloumi into some little cubes. We'll just try that for now. Put that one back in the marinade. I have never made this before. I'm totally winging this, but I feel like it's going to be delicious. Zucchini strip. Can we see? Do I need my other setup? There we go. Put that in. 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 Put that feel like the quality wasn't that great on my other one. Let me have a look. We'll try it. The two versions of me. Just because I know every time I do this, people can't see what I'm doing. So I'm trying. Okay, so what I'm thinking we do is we get this little cube. I should start this side so you can see. It's quite hot. Get this little cube of halloumi. I feel like that's probably a little bit too big. We will see. Make a roly-poly thing. Try and find even sized ones. This is making me hungry. The only thing with this is the halloumi's not going to get that brown edge on it that I love, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, let's do a tester. Goes on so easy. I feel like that wasn't the right way around. It needs to be so the most surface area is going to be pan sized down. If you know what I mean. Which would be, is a little bit harder to skewer that way. Oh my gosh, that's so cute, you guys. Look. Let's try it out. I'm going to make a few more while that one's cooking. So you could use basil or some basil. I feel like basil or even rosemary in this marinade would be yum for this combination. I don't want it too hot, because it's got to penetrate through to the halloumi and melt that, not just burn the zucchini and have cold, hard halloumi. So probably a lower heat would work better. That's why we just do an experiment and we find out. I feel like there's going to be people watching this like, no. Too much winging it for me. I'm winging it so you don't have to. I'm loving this. I'll show you up there. See if it will focus. These are cute. Alright, so while that is cooking, we can basically plate up our other dish, because everything else is done. We just need to cook the rest of the halloumi and we can add that on top. So we need a plate. Made a big mess here. Plate. Get some of the zucchini pasta. I feel like it needs a bit more. Actually, like our halloumi skewers could just go on top of this as well. Really. Just going to add make sure I stir the bottom up, because that's where all the dressing from the lime juice and the salt, all the liquid has come out. Pop that on top. I'm running out of space. Every time I finish one of these lives, I'm like, oh, and then I look around and I've made a huge mess of the kitchen. That's okay. What are we going to do with this little guy? Slice it. Go a long ways. Lime wedges in there in case it needs some more. Our flowers, so I'm just going to pull some, we don't want those end bits, some of them off. So zinnia, see, can you see they've got like green bits on the end there? We don't really want to eat those, they'll be not very nice. Zinnia don't really taste like much, but they are so pretty. You can get some really nice colours, and they're going to add some minerals and vitamins. So the more diversity you can have in your food, the more minerals and vitamins and good stuff you're going to be having. That's why I love to grow like huge diversity in the garden, which is obviously going to benefit my garden by having, you know, a whole range of different beneficial insects come in, and it stops the soil from being severely depleted if you've got more diversity. And then obviously eating, you're going to be eating a whole lot more range of good stuff. It's a bit longer. They're holding together, which I kind of had a thought like maybe they would fall apart, but they are holding together so well. They're starting to soften a bit. So I'm just going to cut some more slices of this to add on top of our halloumi pasta salad thingy. We can just pop those in the pan like that. Alright, let's go back to one camera and I'll have a look at the chat. Will those cook? So look how that's nice and colourful. Looking good, looking good. Oh look, there's so many people here, some new faces, some familiar faces. I love, I've missed hanging out with you guys on live. I feel like we haven't done it very much lately, so I do want to get back into it, and I say that every time, but give me some ideas. I want sort of like a regular show. I feel like that would be easier if I had like a regular show where I knew what I was doing. I guess like cooking, but I do like sharing the seeds when I'm planting seeds, so I'll still do those lives because those are really fun to do when I'm going through my seed collection and deciding what to plant. Lots of zucchinis, lettuce, cucumbers, raspberries. Oh, yum. Spring onions. Steve's here, Joe's here, Janet. Oh, there's lots of new faces as well. Alright, so let's flip these over. excited for this. It's the hard thing about cooking and like making up recipes and stuff is that like a lot of thought goes into it behind the scenes, but then sometimes you make it and it's like, that didn't work. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to work, but it just means that like whatever I thought was going to work, I have to rejig it and try again. So sometimes I will get straight onto it and make it again, but sometimes I'm like used up the last of that ingredient, because I try to use as much of stuff that I've grown in the garden. So once for example, I tried to make a lemonade upside down cake using lemonades, the last of my lemonades, and it was delicious, but it just didn't quite work. Like it didn't hold together and I needed to tweak a few things, but I'd run out of lemonades and they're not really something you can go out and buy. So I could have tested it out with oranges, which is what I might have to do until my lemonade tree lemonades are ready again. But yeah, sometimes it's just not, it just doesn't work because I need to make things multiple times. But these ones, I'm pretty sure we're gonna nail it first time, you guys. All right, halloumi's pretty much ready. Yeah, I can't wait to eat this. I always feel bad cooking as well, and it's like I can't really share it. And it smells so good in here. So I've got a little bit of the leftover dressing, so I'm just going to probably drizzle a bit of that on top as well, just so that it's nice and coated in those delicious flavors. Yeah, I think I didn't need to cook the halloumi again, like the strips. I could just serve it with the skewers. Perfect. But the strips are cooked already, so we're going to pop those on. These ones take a little bit longer. I'm interested to see if there's much rosemary flavour from being on those skewers. We'll see. Gosh, I've nearly been doing this for an hour. I always get carried away. So this was one of the dishes that I was planning on doing, and the other one was just these by themselves. But I think this together would be a good dish. I think having these skewers on top of this dish would just be enough to make it one perfect dish. So obviously got to try it. And there's heaps left over. So this salsa I'll just pop in a container in the fridge, and then I will use that again for another meal. You could also just add some greens with this, some lettuce, and turn it into a salad. The green dressing as well, I could put that in a jar and then again put it in the fridge. I would use that up within the day or so. It has got vinegar and lemon juice, so it's not like it's going to go bad, but the flavours and the fresh herbs, you really want to eat those fresh. Otherwise it's not going to have the same effect. Okay, done. Overkill with doubling up, but I'm so happy with this. Oh, the skewers are like crispy, and then also you can feel them like they're soft from the halloumi. There we have it, you guys. That's what we made. The random concoctions from the garden have turned into this. So pretty much everything from the garden other than the halloumi and the like oil and stuff, vinegar. Everything else is from the garden. So yeah, let me try this. Let me know if you've got any questions before Okay. I want to see if this has like a rosemary flavour. Oh. Quite hot. I think you can taste rosemary. It's delicious. Those skewers are a winner. So let's try this other. So the longer this sits, the more the like beetroot's soaking into our ribbons. So they're starting to go pink. That's so good. The halloumi is sort of needed though, or something is needed, because it's so fresh, just to have that sort of fattiness or that substance to it, because otherwise it is just like a very fresh salad vibe. But having halloumi or some sort of protein, tofu or chicken or whatever you want on there, that is so good. Don't need the pasta. The zucchini strips work. They've absorbed a lot of the flavour though, so definitely go more flavour than less flavour with that, I would say. I've still got my marinade in there, so I've got more halloumi to cook. But that is it, you guys. We made something delicious, something I've been thinking about making for a while, just using whatever I had in the garden. So I'm glad that worked out, and it wasn't just a random me cooking something strange. But thanks for joining me, and let me know, leave a comment or anything, or what you think we could do for like a regular sort of show, because I would like to set that up. It's just always like I can't really think what to do. That's probably the biggest problem, is thinking what to do, and also what times work for these lives, because everyone has got different time zones, and it just ends up being hard. I'm like, is anyone going to show up at lunchtime on a random day? But you have, so thank you for that. And eating crackers and cheese. Well, skewers next on the menu. Oh, so good. Have you grown the red spring onions? Yes, I grow the red spring onions, the red bunching onions. They're pretty much the only ones I grow. I love them the most. So you can get seeds online. I got seeds from somewhere, I can't remember where, but they're definitely a favourite. Lots of sweet potato, yum. I've been eating lots of sweet potato leaves because they are going nuts in my garden at the moment, and it's sort of like that's how I trim my sweet potatoes. If they're getting too wild, I'll just cut back heaps and eat them and chuck them in a stir fry or something. Leah, Mum brought me that peeler. The best peeler, yes. Oh, it's so funny that like a simple kitchen utensil like this could bring so much joy, when obviously there's all these other things you could have, like mixers and fancy blenders, but no, the peeler and the old trusty mortar and pestle, winners, I tell you. I could just drink that dressing. That's so good. It's my favorite. All right, team, thank you so much for joining me. I now have lunch, but I also have a huge mess that I can clean up, and probably just keep cooking so that I don't have to cook dinner, because I've pretty much prepped it all. I'll just finish it off and I'll use that for dinner. Thank you so much for joining me. Until the next live, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week, and your gardens are thriving. So I will see you next time. I don't even know how to end. I don't know how to end my there we go. Bye.